Yo, 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 yo,
It just mutes him when it gets too
yo,
loud.
yo, 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 yo. Welcome to the 20 Somethings Podcast. Again, we back at it again. It's your boy David. We out here with your lovely host RM Feeney. And we're back here again this week to talk to you guys because we miss you guys and we love podcasting. What else would we do, right, guys?
Yeah.
Dang, man, the energy kind of
Just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm ready.
the energy is suspect. But anyway, let's get a
Ready.
quick
Not
check in.
suspect.
It
Ready
is a
to
bit dark.
pop, man.
But all right,
It's been a minute, man.
Jalal.
Yes.
Hmm?
Why
How are
you?
you, my brother? How are you, my brother?
His full government.
I know my full government. I'm good, man. Chilling, bro. I'm good. I'm great.
It seems
Life
like there's
is-
something going on with you.
No,
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Yeah, life is good. Life is treating me well. It is busy, like it always is. But I've said that. I feel like every time we open this podcast up, I always say, "Life's good. It's got work. It's busy." We know that one already. That's an aside at this point. But it's good in general. There's a lot of things to be grateful for. Can't complain too much, man. Just enjoying life, enjoying friends. You know what I'm saying? So I'm loving it.
But are like you're always busy, right?
Yeah.
And we can tell like when you're busy and when you're not, even without you
Yep.
telling
How
us.
does it show?
Mhm.
What's the difference?
Like how you talk and how you interact. You know how like usually with everyone, if they're a little bit busy, they'll be like, not talking as much. But like even when you talk when you're busy, like it's a little bit more of a like you're drained, like like so many people are blowing up your phone or something like that. You know what I
Bruh,
mean?
it is. I mean, that's what's happening, literally, because my work is very. It requires a lot of direct text messages type stuff. So, like, my phone is filled with people who I will probably, once I'm done here, either that's a retirement or I leave, whatever form that takes. I'm gonna have like a bunch of people's phone numbers like just sitting in my phone, and they probably will text me on accident thinking I still work there. So
Yeah, and I think a change too. You know how I don't know if this is too much information, but like when you get a work phone,
uh,
by the time you combined it to become
that
one
was a bad
phone,
idea.
it's like when it was like, dang man, like your life is work. So like even when you do your devotional, be seeing a coworker, all right, where's the build? And it's like, dang, you can't even focus on the word of God. Like, come on, like that's your quiet time. Like, come
I'm
on, like
weak.
you know what I mean? So it's
But
like
now
for
I'm
you,
good. I mean, I'm managing it. I'm learning to balance it. I think we're actually gonna get into a bit of that. Actually, that's right on brand, right on
you
topic.
know why I asked that question. You know how I'm good at this podcast. So anyway, we'll get back to you, Miss Fee Koyejo.
I just love how the volume just cuts out as high
Every
as you
time he
go.
gets high.
Yeah, I think my mic has like a
No,
max,
it's good. It's good. It's good. What's up?
but anyway, how are you doing? How's life? How's work? How's everything? I like, and how are you mentally? Like number one too. Like,
That's a great question. All in all, we have the generic life is good, still alive, still pushing through. Mentally, on a scale of 10, I would say I'm a 6. 6 out of 10 right now. I don't know
six
why.
out of ten. What happened to the
Yeah,
left one?
I don't know where is the other 4, man, but I don't know. I'm a 6 out of 10 right now. Not too bad. I will say I'm very neutral in how I'm feeling. So, yeah.
Yeah. So Fane too. Like also when you're busy, I can tell, and you know why?
You know why?
Because you say it.
Oh, I say it that I'm busy.
Yeah, you're like, can't, no, leave me alone. Can't do it.
Why are you putting that tone?
Unavailable.
It's not even.
I'm unavailable at that moment.
I'm unavailable.
It's not
Hey,
That
even.
good, you
good.
see.
Just see
Man,
me. That's our
okay.
catchphrase, bro.
Unavailable. Hey, that
I
good.
wonder.
So,
I wonder, bro. Go.
Huh? No,
no,
continue.
because
Yeah, no,
I get you lost
I
off
was gonna
before
get it in
I
the
get at it.
bag. Bro,
Before
I
I
was
get
gonna
at
get in the
it.
bag. Let me
So,
not do
like,
it.
you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but why are you always unavailable?
Let me think. Let's see. Because you try to podcast on Sunday or Monday, and I was doing my hair. And then Tuesday, I was out. Wednesday, I was out, but my plans got canceled. So I could have actually Tuesday I was available. No one ever responded to podcasts. No one ever messaged the podcast. So I said,
Yeah,
okay.
that was on us. Yeah,
So I was like, okay, Wednesday I was supposed to go out, but that got canceled. So I was like, it's too late to respond tell you guys. And then today's Thursday. So here we are. You know,
you're available. Yeah,
I'm just going through a phase in my life. I don't know, man. So
What's the phase about?
adding new people to your life, removing people from your life, those sorts of things. You
Ooh,
know?
so who are you removing?
Um,
And don't tell me I'm on the list.
yeah, you guys are
Eh?
on the list.
Please. What is he's drooling.
I don't know. No one's been removed just yet, but it could happen, you know?
So you're adding some people to the playlist.
Not really.
No,
Nah,
weren't you like you're trying to replace the F5 boys with what's his name?
listen, listen,
Seriously,
The
bro. We
small
see
one.
it. We see the
What's his
play.
name? And you're like, what
listen.
a beautiful
Yeah,
Sunday.
we see
Like,
that
shut up,
play.
man. Like,
We
what
see
the
that
hell?
play.
Like,
I know
I know
you guys were gonna
you
We
ain't
see that
enjoying
play.
yourself,
We
man.
see it.
Like,
We see
stop.
it.
I know you
Stop it.
guys were gonna get jealous. First of all, I can never replace you guys. F5 forever. Second of all, I have not seen those boys since shout out Tammy and the other one. Just kidding. Nire. I haven't seen him since you like that Sunday we posted. So it's just like a fake F5 moment. And then we went back to normal
Fake
schedule
F5.
programming.
Yuck.
You know?
Man, get
Don't
that on
even
my
roll off the
face,
tongue,
man.
man.
And those boys they let us roast them. So I can really roast them without them getting their feelings.
I think they're just not burnt out. Just fine.
They're not burnt out.
Seriously.
They're not burnt out yet. So I can really
You can really make fun of their
What
whole
is
life,
that?
but it's okay. But yeah, but that's
yeah.
good though. It's
Stop,
good
all right,
to
because I don't even do all that.
What is
Close your
David
mouth.
doing?
no, but that's good though. I'm glad to hear that you're like adding, removing. Because sometimes you need to remove some people out of your life. Sometimes you need to add people to your life. So it's good to have a
Yeah.
good balance. But I'm
And
glad to hear.
removing doesn't necessarily mean like you're out of my life. You just move to a different department of my life. You're not
Yeah,
maybe you're in the inner circle, now you in the middle circle or the outer crust,
yeah, like the doghouse.
Outer
Like
crust?
crust, like
Wow.
the earth.
That's like outside of the out. Wow. Okay.
But none of my inner circle has moved out there yet. And hopefully
hey,
never.
hey, forever. But yeah, but I'm really glad
What
to hear
about
that
you? What
because
about you? What about you?
oh, thanks guys. I'm doing good, guys. Recently, there was some changes going on in life, and it had me in a spot where I was like, dang man, like I was like not feeling so good. But over the last
Yeah.
week or so, I've been able to kind of bounce back, been able to talk to some mentors and people and friends as well, just to like help me to just have more of a positive mindset on life. I think ambition is good. It's good and bad.
Yep.
It's good like when you're trying to better yourself and all that kind of stuff. And it can be negative when like if you beat yourself up, like if you don't get to your destination. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Life is all about like small steps to get to success. So if you don't get it in one big gallop, that doesn't mean you're a complete failure.
It's not
And
over.
then exactly, and then just also like comparing yourself or comparing to even just comparing yourself to like what your initial like plans were, right? Like let's say
Yeah.
you had certain plans by this age, I gotta have this and that, and if you like, dang, like I'm this age and I don't got that and that, and sometimes it could be like, dang, am I doing something wrong? Am I
Yeah.
being lazy? Have I made the wrong steps? But God has a plan, and we just be walking in life. So I think
Period.
just that mental reset just kind of helped me a bit, and I'm in a more positive mind space for sure right now.
That's good.
That's good to hear.
That's good, brother.
Keep it up, buddy.
But yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, oh, were you gonna say something?
no.
Oh, okay, cool. But the reason why I really was asking those like temp checks today is because that's gonna kind of be our like topic today, low key. So, today on the 20 somethings podcast, we'll be talking about
Podcast.
a big topic that I feel like is kind of neglected sometimes. Like I was saying, our age group in our community, which is self care. Self care, right? Self care could be like different things for different people. It can look different ways for different people. Some people like to watch movies by themselves. Like, all right, like that's your self care.
I do that.
Fiend
I love it.
Fiend self care might be like, I don't know, like getting her nails done. I know you were trying to see if I was gonna say something crazy, but I wasn't.
My nails aren't done. If anyone wants to fund that, thank you. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like for my story, right? A lot of times in life, when we're kind of going through the motions and going through different stuff, like we kind of forget that, and I think that's what kind of leads us to burnout and like just being like in some like mental funkiness. And so, like for me, for example, right, like with everything going on, I'll just kind of talk about it. I won't be like kind of
Koi.
talking in codes. So I was supposed to do a contract, right, a travel nursing contract for the viewers that don't know. These two know already, and I was canceled, right? And this is part of the business or whatever. But
Mhm.
I was just about to go, like I was just getting ready to go and everything, and I got canceled like last minute. And the reason why this was kind of disappointment too is because I've been trying to like kind of make a step for my career, like or like a step from what I'm doing currently to like get more money. Last year I was kind of like doing like data analytics courses and stuff like that, and
It was
trying
coding.
to yeah, man, I was trying to do all sorts of things. I was watching all sorts of videos, researching
Yep.
all that kind of stuff. That didn't really work out. So I was like, okay. I told myself, by April this year, if all that stuff didn't work out, I'll start like travel nursing, right? So I keep to my word though, right? I get it
Hmm.
all set up and everything.
Yep.
And I about to do it and everything. And then like all of a sudden they're like, well, you got canceled. And for those people that don't know that, that means like the hospital can like pretty much say like you're gonna like do it or not. It's like at will appointment basically. So
Yep.
I bought a ticket, I bought everything, and I was like my mindset was ready to go. And like I don't know if you guys have ever been able like about to leave a job and like you're like kind of like man like a few more days or like like I'm almost out of here anyway.
Yep.
And then like having the feeling of like dang it's actually not a few more days. Like I actually don't know when the end is. That
Hi.
feeling is kind of like, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so that kind of like put me in that state of mind, and I realized that I wasn't doing enough self-care in this whole journey of trying to like better my career and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I kind of wanted to talk about it. I want to see how you guys do it, how we should do it, and yeah. So, let me start with Finn. Like, have you ever been at like a point in your life where like you feel like I don't know you need more self care, or do you feel like that currently, or how do you feel?
First, like, let's define like what is self-care. Like self-care to me is like first of all, we're like a spirit, right? So you obviously got to take care of the spiritual first, right? Then you take care of yourself mentally, and then you take care of yourself physically. I think in our
Mm-hmm.
generation, we focus more on the aspect of like physical self-care and then like mental self-care. I think we're like one of the first generations to have like sick days for like mental days. You know what I mean?
That's good. I
Um,
love that.
which is great,
Mm-hmm.
because our previous generation would be like, "Oh, you're feeling sad. Why are you feeling
They'll
sad?"
take
Like,
out their anger on their kids when they get home. Why did you tell me? Go into your room.
Hold with your knuckles,
Seriously,
like
bro.
this.
that
Anyway,
closed fist.
anyways, so in regards to self-care, like one thing I really struggled with is like taking time off, especially like when I first got out of college and like got my first real job. Like Africans, we deem like if you're not working, you're being lazy. Like if you're not doing anything, like it's equal to zero at that point, right? So it really took, you know, I will say like others and maybe like things I've read, things I've seen to realize taking a break does not mean you're lazy. It actually can empower you for the longer run. And I didn't realize like what burnt out felt like, or not felt like, but what it was. I didn't know that feeling. I was feeling like, oh, you wake up, I'm like, oh, I have to go to work, or I have to do all these responsibilities. Like I couldn't pinpoint that feeling. Like, why am I always feeling drained? Like, why am I always feeling like, ah, burnt out was the word I'm looking for. But all in all, like self-care, how I approach self-care, um, I try to take a day off once a month, pretty much, in regards to work. In regards to my mental on the weekends, I allow myself to sleep in because I'm at that age. I ain't got no husband, I ain't got no kids, I ain't got no responsibilities like that in the morning that time. So I take that time to like reflect and just really do a mental check on myself. Like, how am I feeling about this? How am I feeling towards my goals? Do I need to take a break? Do I need to maybe read my Bible more? Those sorts of things. So I think that's how I would handle self-care. And then of course it's typical physical self-care, like vacation,
Mm,
massage, get your hair
mm-hmm.
done, get your nails done, go shopping, talk with your friends, go out to a nice dinner with your friends, those sorts of
Go out
things.
to dinner by yourself.
Okay, yeah.
Mm,
I think,
yeah.
yeah, you do that
You guys did not
anyways.
give that energy that you needed.
No,
That's
because I
very
saw,
important.
okay,
Because
listen,
all right, you
That's
too into
very
that, bro.
important.
You
I
too
saw
into
It's
this,
that.
I saw
important,
this,
though. I'll tell you.
I saw this tweet where it was like, solo dates are so depressing. Like, but
That's cat, bro.
all in all, you're just getting food by yourself. Like, how many times have you gotten food by yourself? You
Hundreds of
just eat up
times.
No, but like
the
sitting there and now like laughing and gisting with yourself like at
Yeah.
a table,
Why?
like
No one said you need to do all that. Now you're detailing schizophrenia. Like that's not like a
like
self care.
that's why I be saying like when you first told me that you like do that. I don't know if you do dates, but when you first told me you went
Look,
to the
it's
movies
not.
and stuff, like I know like
Eh?
eating popcorn. I'm like, you crazy, man. Like that's
Bruh,
schizophrenia.
it's not that uncommon. Going to the movies by yourself. Going to the movies by yourself, it's like an experience. Like
Look how Art
I'm
smiling.
just
He likes it too much.
every time I decide, wow, I'm gonna go watch a movie that I just gonna love. Like it's so fun. Like I'll buy snacks. Like I'll do as if I was with someone. Like and I'll go
Wine
sit in
and
my
dine
seat.
yourself.
And sometimes I'm lucky enough to be surrounded by strangers who are sitting on both the left and the right of me, and we're here laughing together, and we're slapping each other.
no way,
This
all
is gonna
right.
be fun.
Nah,
I'm
you're
telling you,
not slapping nobody in San Jose, bro.
the last movie I saw was Beau is Afraid. You guys should not watch it; it's not for you. But I was sitting next to people, and we were laughing together. It's an interesting experience, like watching a movie with strangers, especially if you're into like movies type stuff, if you like that sort of stuff. And it's good to just kick back and I know David uses the movies to sleep. So
No, I don't.
there's that. Oh yeah,
Low
you do.
key, you do.
Nah.
Several times I went to the movie with David
He
and he
be
would sit and he would literally and I'll
Nah.
have to
If I
like shove him to so he
no, if
doesn't
I'm
sleep.
going to the movies by myself and like sleeping in the movies by yourself and then like waking up, nobody's gonna wake you up. Like that's really crazy. Imagine you wake up, everything is off. You're like, and I have to wipe your mouth and head to the exit. Nah, bro. I can only do that when I'm with my people. That's why I do that.
Nah,
I think
but
there are
yeah.
certain activities that you can do it yourself that it's not deemed weird. I will say movies is one of them. I personally love going to the movies with someone because I talk during movies. I'm that person. Sorry. But yeah.
Do people tell you to shut up when you like talking to
I don't
movies?
talk loud. So I talk very underneath my breath. So I think. Like, what movie did we
Mm-hmm.
see last? Air? Man, I did not know what was going on during that movie. I was talking.
No, but I feel like it's, bro. Like I don't know. Some things, like I understand. I agree with Aura, right? Like doing solo things is great, right?
Yeah.
And but like I don't know. I feel like some activities though, like it's just better to do with like your friends, like and people, because like I be feeling like a lot of like inside jokes and jokes be like coming from those like kind of experiences, right?
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like vacations, for example, right? I'm not against solo vacations, but I feel like at least in our group or in our friendships, most of these crazy
Inside
inside jokes
jokes,
or
yeah.
crazy
They come
things
from those,
would be
yeah.
happening not even necessarily like maybe even in the airport or whatever is going on, like,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
only we will understand that. And
Yeah.
when we
That's
go
true.
out, people be like, "What?" But we will be
Yeah.
dying laughing. If you're by
Mm.
yourself, coming up with an inside joke, and you're by yourself, like people are gonna be like,
Yeah.
"What?" But there's a spot and a place for like solo dates and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff and playing with yourself. So
One thing you mentioned
Well,
too is, yeah, I just continue to talk because I know what he was
not
doing.
like that. Come on. Now.
One thing I think falls in the self-care definition is like vacations, like you said, like taking
Yeah.
some time out,
mhm,
going to a place with people,
mhm.
different destination, get to know culture, get to know, just a different side of life. I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of our people don't get that kind of exposure, especially when they're young. I don't know you guys as parents if they traveled a lot. David might be in a different spot. Your parents kind of travel a lot, but they probably didn't travel as much when they were younger, is my guess. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's really important, and getting away from work. I think
The
that's
day to day.
really, really, really big. That in itself is self care because sometimes the role you're in or where you work can be a bit demanding, and if you do
Yeah.
not know how to draw a line, people will abuse you. Like
Yes.
they will abuse it, and they know they don't they know they probably know they're crossing a line, but because you're just so available, they'll just keep doing it, and there's just not going to be
Mm-hmm.
any end to it.
Yep.
So learning how to set boundaries at work, that's a form of self-care. That's a huge, in my opinion.
Huge. I agree.
Yeah. And like for you are like I feel like for you guys that are in tech too, like you know how they have that limited time off or
I
whatever.
don't
Yeah.
have that, but
I do. But yeah.
Oh, really?
she
Oh,
has it, but I don't. Yeah.
okay. I think it's like a little bit. I feel like that can kind of help with your self care to an extent because I don't know. I feel like it's like there's not a limited amount of numbers that you can use, and you don't want to like you want to use it for strictly enjoyment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like if you need a day where you can just like slump and like pass or you just want to like just rest in your house, you don't even have to travel anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can like use it for that. But like with me, right, if I want to use PTO, right, I don't want to be in my house. But you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of times though, like the most self-care, like you might just need a break from whatever you're doing. You
Yeah.
don't necessarily
Yeah.
have to like go out and do stuff or like, spend money or something like that. Sometimes you just need to have the art of doing nothing.
A
That
good
makes
nap.
sense.
Mm.
Exactly. And I feel like Fane was saying earlier, like in our culture, right? Like our parents grew up being like immigrants in this country, and it's just like work, 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 work. If you're not working, what are you doing with your life? You want
Yeah.
to sleep? Why are you sleeping still? I don't have work today. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, why can't I sleep? Like, is I don't have anything. Find
Sometimes,
something to do. Do
yeah,
Yeah.
something
yeah,
with yourself. And I'm just
Yep.
like, bro, like I would sometimes I just want to like sleep in and like I find myself even though like I know this, I still have that like innate thing where it's like, okay, I have to get up and do something.
right,
You know
yeah,
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I can't just like rest. I can't just like sit down and like just enjoy the day and not have to worry about anything. Like I have
Mm-hmm.
to be productive today. And sometimes like that's like not that can be like detrimental to your mental health, really. Like if you're
Yeah.
always trying to like look for something to do. So for example, like this week that I've had off or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to sleep in. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't thinking about going to work the next day because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the mental space of dreading the work the next
bro.
day will take up time.
They
Woo!
call it Sunday. They call it a Sunday scaries. I don't know if you heard
Yeah,
that
bro.
term.
And you don't even really want to do anything crazy because you have work the next day. So that'll even take up like some of that time for like mental rest. You know what
Yep.
I mean? But
Yeah,
being
Yep.
able to sleep, I slept in till like 10 or something like that. And I was even feeling kind of bad. I said, wow, like, what's wrong with me? But then I was like, you know what? Like, what's so bad about that?
right. Yeah,
You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So yeah, I think self care is big in our culture for sure. We need to like make sure that's more of a priority.
Yeah. Yeah. I do also think like even though we say we're like big at like our generation says we're big advocates for self-care, a lot of us still
Mm-hmm.
go into like that hustle mentality. Like, okay, you have your 9 to 5. What's your side hustle after that? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's still that same like but it's veiled behind um the goal of reaching self-care. Like, I work this hard, so I deserve to have this self-care moment. I have an LLC, so now I can get a passport. Like, those types of silly things, you know what I mean? And it's
Hmm.
like, I want to like emphasize the point, like, you do not have to work to a certain degree to be worthy of having self-care. You know, like, your body will tell you when it needs self-care. And you don't want to get to that point where your body is breaking down and now it's going to take you double or triple the time to recuperate because you're lacking in self-care. So,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree with that 100%. Um, to that and to what David was saying too with our culture and self care. Um, I definitely think like at least even in my household, my mom raised us fine. Like she actually did a more than amazing job, right? But one of the things she would that kind of like it became a routine was like okay on Saturdays we basically clean the house from top to bottom. Like and
Yep.
I'm pretty sure you guys had that too. So I don't think there was ever really like a framework on what it looks like to I don't know that we were definitely encouraged to like rest for sure and like take time but like the way I've seen the way some people organize taking care of themselves like some people will really like prepare a whole day from like top to bottom of things they would do targeted at taking care of themselves as if they were another person almost. You know how
Yeah.
when you like plan a date for some date with someone or like you plan like a surprise for someone and maybe it's like they get the spa day or something. Like you really take the time to like research the place, make sure it's good. Like you think about that person because you want the best for them. And I think sometimes based partially based on how we grew up. I don't know if we got that kind of like exposure to that level of detail in terms of self care.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, at least in my adult years, it's definitely something I've had to like start to begin to teach myself. Like, okay, like this is what this looks like. Okay, like I've been working X amount of days. Okay, I should probably do this to relieve my stress or do that to, like now it's actual intentional steps that I feel like now I'm trying to teach myself almost a bit more. I don't know if you guys can relate to that one,
Yeah,
but
definitely. I will also say, like, because when most people hear self-care, they think of like pampering sessions, like things that make you feel good. But like, on another angle of this, I would say self-care is like doing stuff now that your future you would appreciate. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe it's like you did laundry and you don't want to fold them clothes, right? Like, you just like looking at it like, dang, I don't want to fold these clothes. But it's just like, if you do it now, I feel like you would feel better in the future versus when you hindsight, let's say you didn't do it, you're doing it in the future, you're thinking, man, I should have done this when I first did laundry, those sorts of things. Or just like cleaning up around the house or taking care of your finances, paying that bill that you've been putting off. Like, those sorts of things are self care within itself because you're thinking of your future self and how it's going to impact you. So,
I really
Hmm.
agree with that. Honestly, the way that what's helped me is to view myself as a separate entity outside of outside of myself, if that makes sense. Like,
dissociating.
not I don't
Narcissism.
think no what David just says that to everything I need.
Narcissism?
But honestly, thinking of yourself as a different, at least for me, that's really helped because I really look at it with more empathy. Like, well, this
Mm.
person must be going through a lot. Like
Yeah.
he
Nice to
should do
yourself.
this, he should do that. Yeah,
Hmm. I think like self care too. Sometimes like for some of us that like are always giving to people and giving to whatever it is, like you're saying no to certain things. Like for me, for example, or even probably all of us, right? Like family, church, whatever it is, they always ask, give, 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 give. And like it's always good to give and it's always good to like, do all that kind of stuff. But sometimes like saying no to some of those things will just like mitigate like a lot of those like issues that like you're going through because once like sometimes like when you take a break from some of these things, you'll find out like wow, like man, like I didn't hate it, but like I needed a break, and like you
Yeah,
feel a lot better. And then when you go back into it or whatever, you won't be as burnt out or like as feel as much of a burden. You know what I mean? When you're
yeah,
like going to those kind of things. I don't know if that makes sense here.
yeah, yeah. I think you're talking about like overextending yourself.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
that you veil it in, oh, I'm being a empathetic person, I'm being a compassionate person, I'm helping someone else out. Like, how could this burn me out? But like, not to be selfish, but yes, be selfish. Because how can you
Hmm.
help someone if you're gonna be burnt out? You know what I mean?
I
So
have a
Yeah.
question to that though. What is there a line between like boundary drawing and just being a like self-centered individual?
ooh.
And what's that
Yes.
line?
I think that line is like it's hard to like put it. You know what I mean? It's hard to say like this is this and this is that. It ultimately like looks at your you have to look at your heart, you know?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like so it might be the same action, but like some for you it might just be you being like, man, I don't give a dang about what's going on over there. And you might just not be caring. Or
yeah,
sometimes just be like, I can't actually like do this right now, like for myself. Like I just need to put that boundary. So you got that's only like something that like someone can answer for themselves. Like you can't
yeah.
necessarily like judge like someone else's like heart and their intentions with it all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm,
Right. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I definitely do feel like sometimes people
Are self-centered or what?
not self-centered, but they use that as a cop out to consistently not show up for people.
Give me an example. Just like a
Mm.
general example, no specifics.
Man, I got
Um
specifics too, man.
um say like say there's a you're I'm having a hard time coming up with an example. I'm
I
not gonna
got you
lie.
right.
You got
I
one?
got
Okay.
you right. Like for example, like I don't like self care is important, right? We've established that, and mental health is important, right? But like when people like are always kind of like using that as a crutch for everything, like I
Mm,
asked you, man, like can you come through for me? No, my mental health. Like every time I'm asking you to like grab something from this aisle, and you're like, oh, like and you're
Or
freaking
no,
out, like
I'm setting my boundary. Like you can't
yeah,
like
like when you say that physically, like I understand it,
that's
but like when you say
crazy,
I'm
man.
setting my boundary right now, and this is the line, and you can't cross it. More power to you, but it's like when you do that all the time, and you're like
Yeah,
voicing like that, I just feel like I'm like on social media or something, like or I'm like
I
listening
know
mm,
to like
on
a
Twitter.
podcast. Like I can't really take it like crazy. And then sometimes like people like will really abuse that so much where it's like you don't
Yes,
want to take responsibility for anything.
yes,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
yes,
Which is like a
yeah.
line that you don't really want to like really like get, just a game you don't really want to get into because we're all like people in this earth and we all have like families or friends and you don't want them like a
Responsibilities.
relationship where it's like someone's always coming through for you and then
Yeah.
you never come through with them because oh I'm setting my boundary. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that person will kind of look at it as like a one-sided relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then that person cannot get mad if the person who's been asking them for things slowly starts to inch away from them. You know what I mean? Like if I'm
Exactly.
constantly asking you to come through for something and your response is, uh, I can't, my anxiety or my something is flaring up. I get it. People have social anxiety, people have different things. But don't
Mm-hmm.
cherry pick because some people I've seen you in social settings and you've done great. But now that it's come to my turn for you to show up for me, now all of a sudden, I'd rather you just be straight with me and just say, no, I don't want to go because I'm not interested in going. Then
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
bail
You respect that
behind,
more.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Yeah. Do you feel like that's like really big in our generation? Like people really like
Definitely.
to like
Oh my
do that. Like have
gosh.
you guys seen that in like your lives and like, relationships? And can
mm,
I get some examples of this place?
I think it's a form of manipulation if you just because who's gonna say you're not depressed? Stop lying. Like no one's
Yeah.
gonna say that in this
Especially
day and
Yeah.
nowadays.
like so it's just a form of manipulation that unfortunately some people abuse for the actual people who are going through these things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a shame
Precisely.
though, I feel like.
That's a what?
That's a shame though, like
Mm-hmm.
because like I feel like more now than ever compared to ever before, like the mental health thing is real, you know? And like when people actually have those issues, not anyone could say it though. Like anyone could say they're going through it, and it's like difficult because it's not something that you can physically like grasp on somebody. Like
or
it's something
see.
like that's subjective. Like you know what I mean? Like only like they can tell you for that. So it's like man, like you can really like finesse the system that way.
Mm-hmm.
Low
Mm-hmm.
key, with
Yeah,
especially with all these like progressive movements and all this kind of stuff. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, man.
yeah. It definitely requires a lot of trust, I think, within circles. Yeah, I mean, and it's like how much detail do you want to go into it too when you give like your reason? Like you're not gonna go. Some people may actually have like a depression issue,
Right.
Hmm.
and they have like all of the history to back it up, but it's like that's not even appropriate to like begin to disclose. Like
Yep.
if you have like I think it depends on the relationship you have with the person. If you trust that person on a general level, you should be able to trust that they'll give you like a trustworthy reason. Like so, if they give you a reason, and another way to tell if there's like a pattern. So like Fiend was just mentioning, I'm not gonna talk about it because I don't know if I don't want you to get in trouble, but there's someone she knows who has a pattern of doing this repeatedly. So that's a way
Mm-hmm.
to tell like okay, like maybe you're using this, maybe you're kind of using it as like a what's the word, like you're using it
Like a
as a
crutch.
crutch. Yes, you're
Yeah.
using it as a crutch.
Yeah.
But if it's like very rare and like this person is like being open and transparent to you, then it's likely genuine and you should treat it as such. Honestly,
Yeah.
I personally have a policy of things like that. I do not. I just take it seriously all the time, just to avoid a scenario wherein I'm really like, what are you talking? You're not being serious. And then they like say me something devastating, like,
Dang.
my dad died, and I don't want to be like,
Yeah, you
because
look
then
like
what
a
do you
goofy.
exactly? Then what do you say after that? Like, you really look dumb. So
You better
best
send
just
a
to avoid such situations, and you know,
edible
yeah.
arrangement or something after that. That's
Bereavement
crazy.
package for that kind of thing, man. Damn.
Okay, question. But what about like self-care? Because we are some Christians here, right? How about self-care in the church? Because I know the church, like traditionally, I know we're moving in a kind of a more open path, but traditionally they would say, "Oh, you feel this way? Oh, just pray, just talk to God about it," and then they would just leave it at that. Like,
They still do
uh,
that.
they do, but there's some churches like faith without works is dead, right? You know what I mean? You can pray, but if you don't do any like work behind it, I feel like God is just telling us, hey, I've given you all these resources here on earth. Go take a bubble bath, go on a trip, like those sorts of things. But like I won't say we, because I don't even count myself in that type of mindset anymore of like just talk to God, just pray to God, just believe, and you'll get through the storm, which could be true in some cases, but I also think
Hmm.
it's not the only case that you can
Hmm.
get through that type of storm. So what do you guys think about that form of self-care? Just prayer and keep it pushing.
I think there's a place for everything, right? Like there's a place for like faith and there's a place for works, like you were saying earlier, right? I
Mm-hmm.
feel like if you're trying to take on life and life's troubles like without God and just like your own strength,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to be sustainable. You might have points where you're like, I'm feeling better, but it's not really going to be sustainable. Like if God's not the one like sustaining it, you know?
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
then like at the same time, if we have faith and we're not like using our hands and like God is like giving us tools and like, trying to like it just is when we're just like not looking at that, we're just saying, God, calm down and like do all that kind of stuff. When it's like, bro, you can just like take a break. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have the PTO like use that. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like especially in our culture again, this is our beautiful culture, right? We're
Uh-huh.
very like, very hey, fire, mountain, all this stuff like calm down. But
Yeah.
it's like God has given us tools and given us like resources to use that. So it's like sometimes when we're praying, you might not even hear anything because it's like God has already given you that those resources to do those things, but like you need to like take initiative and like move your feet and like do stuff with what he's done because we have free will, like
Yeah.
if you don't want to like free yourself from that thing, like God's not gonna be like free by fire. Like if you want to stay there, then you can stay there. Like,
Right.
but like
Right.
if He gives you the tools, Don't be like God needs to come down with his physical hands. I mean, he can do whatever he wants, but come down to the physical hands and start playing with your brain and oh, okay, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's steps to
Like,
this stuff. Yeah.
like you got 7 weeks of PTO banked, auntie, uncle. You've been working at that company for 7 years, haven't taken a break, and you're wondering, God help me. God is telling you go fill out that PTO and go take a break. But
Yeah, but like we have
Yeah.
a part. We have a part to play for sure.
What do they say? Don't worry about things that you can't control, but
yeah,
those you
Hmm.
do have the ability to have some action over. You should. Why,
hmm
if you can, you should. You know, and if there's steps that make sense, you should take those. Right.
yeah,
Hmm.
And I think that's where asking God to just give you peace. I feel like that's where I find it serves me the most. Like things that I know are completely like out of my control. There's nothing like I can put my hand on right now in this moment to
hmm
like affect. Like that's something I can now like release, you
yeah,
know, and the worry and baggage that comes along with, because I think we like to tell ourselves like, oh, you know, don't worry about the things you're not like have any control over. All these like phrases are so easy to say, man. Like you
yep,
could just say it, but you're still gonna be worried sometimes, you know. Like it's just it's a natural human reaction to
hmm
like
Hmm.
anything and everything. So I think that's where that helps as well. So
beautiful.
yeah, yeah.
How
So what?
about? Oh,
Yeah,
sorry, go on.
go. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like emotional self care. Like, what do you think about that? Like, have you guys ever heard of that? Or, like, do you think that's like a thing?
Could you expound on it a bit?
Like, kind of let's say like you're in a relationship, right? Or like you're married or something like that, right? And sometimes like with emotions and all these kind of things, especially like if you have different types of attachment styles, like some people have anxious or avoidant or whatever it is, like
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? You've heard of those
hmm
before?
hmm
Yeah, like sometimes that can create stress or like a burden on you. So like within a relationship, right? Like how can you like take self care? Is it just like, give me space, like get away from me? Or, like, is it like, I don't know, something else? Like I mean, you guys have both been in
These
relationships.
movements, David is
give me
killing me.
space.
Pretty said,
Get away
I'm gonna
from me.
go into your brain and change. I think
I
that's
go
just
like
doing
this.
this.
No, but
Oh
like yeah.
God.
So like I know you guys have been in relationships. Have you ever felt like overwhelmed and like maybe like some kind of stress or something like that?
Yeah,
Like
man.
and so like
Yeah.
how do you like take care of yourself in that? You know what I mean? Like is it just like you gotta break up or is it like okay, like maybe there's something
Mm.
personal I got going on that I need to like,
Mm-hmm.
I think it starts with you communicating to your partner like, yo, like I'm not where I need to be like here, and letting them know that first and foremost, so there's no confusion as to like his behavior is off, because girls are so like, oh my god, bro.
see,
You know, I
you
didn't
know.
even know what I was saying,
You see my
man.
eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Girls are so hyper aware of emotional movement changes, etc. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you like do one thing that's different, like say like instead of like closing the door gently, like you threw it a little bit harder, like they will note that, and then now they're like, why your energy changing? Like what? Like why are
Mm-hmm.
you like
But do
on
your
top of me
energy
like
be
this?
changing? Yes.
Low key, that's what I'm saying. It's a
No,
little bit scary.
it's just a different
You
day.
No, no, because even if you don't know it subconsciously, your energy has shifted. And women can pick up on that, just those subtle
No, I
changes.
be feeling my energy be shifting when they be asking too many questions like that.
that
And when they be
too,
It can
like, when
escalate
they
it.
be, yeah, when they're like, "What's wrong with you?" And you're like, "Wait, why are you asking me that all the time?
right?
Leave me
Yeah,
alone."
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, how do I even go for this? Like, I don't want to make this a woman versus man thing, right? But like in regards to like relationships, like because women can be very hyper aware. Like we're very emotional creatures, right? Whereas like men are very logical, you know? It's like, how do I say this? Like there's so many thoughts racing in my head right now. Basically, what I'm saying, like emotional self-care within a relationship you both have to have a certain level of emotional intelligence when it comes to each other. Like you have to know, kind of pick up on like their mannerisms. Like, okay, David's like this when he's mad. David's like this when he's hungry. He's like this when he's sad. And like anything that kind of goes out of that like typical routine, because let's face it, like humans are habitual creatures. We are, whether we want to agree to that or not. Sorry, we are. Anything that goes out of that like um routine, I would say like for both partners on both ends, not accuse a person like what's wrong with you, what's going on, but I think asking them in a way that leaves them gives them space, like saying, hey, if in case you're going through something or you need to speak to me about something, like I'm always here for you. Just let me know if you need any space like that. Because we're so quick to think it's something that we did. And it could be just something like they didn't get to get their coffee this morning or their favorite
and that
team
could be
lost.
selfish.
Yeah. It's a bit of an
Selfish
ego.
on what, on whose party? On
If you feel like it's all about you, like you know what I mean, like
oh yeah,
something's up and it's like, is it me?
yeah,
What did I do?
yeah.
Do I need to get in the gym or whatever? You know what I mean?
Do I need to what? Get in the
Nothing,
gym?
nothing,
You're
nothing.
crazy.
But like it's like, you know, like I feel like people are, even within those like relationships, like people are still individuals. They still have their own like mood swings and, you know, emotional patterns. And sometimes people just be dealing with like just, you know, life sometimes. And then like if you act different and like you're afraid of how your partner will react to you having just normal life like mood swings,
Yeah,
like it kind of like, I don't know, stops you from like being able to feel
Feeling.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Damn, you hit the
like
nail right on the head. Wow. That
there you
was
go, right?
no,
Oh,
the way David just finished it off, like that was the perfect explanation of that. That was
Yeah,
perfect.
because it like stops you like from being able to like actually have the ability to feel like express yourself or express just normal human emotions, which every human should be able to like do. But like if you're in a relationship, then it's like, dang, I can't. Like I know it's, you have to be selfish and you always have to sacrifice in a relationship. But like if it's like I can't do this certain thing that every human does to like release like certain emotions, sometimes you just want to be moody for a second just to get out of your system. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
like everyone has that kind of thing. But if it's like you can't even do that, then it's just gonna be building up and building up and
yeah.
building up, and then like you might even start resenting the other person for not being able to like release that. You know.
Yeah. And I also think both partners need to be like vocal about how they feel. Internalizing something is never a good idea, in my opinion. And I'm not saying you have to over explain yourself, saying this and this is what happened. So I'm going to do this in order for me to feel better. It could just be a
Mm-hmm.
simple, like, and it's just a simple, like, hey, I'm just not feeling it today. And I think people, partners, either on both sides need to know, like, when's the correct time to dig on that person's statement and when is the best time to just leave it alone. Because I know sometimes people want to be helpers, like I want to make sure they get back to feeling 10 out of 10, so they'll like
Back to
nitpick
normal.
and nitpick and nitpick, and it's just like causing the situation to get worse. So I think it's just
Yeah.
like that general, like Aura was saying earlier, that general level of communication and just being
Mm-hmm.
able to say like, trust your partner, like just trust your partner when they're saying like, hey, I'm just not really feeling it. And one thing I saw on TikTok was like, do you want me to leave you alone or do you want like my presence? Do you want me to speak about it with you or do you want me to just listen to you vent? Like those types of questions instead of what's wrong with you?
That
What are
I
you?
see, I like that, but I feel like it's kind of like
Yeah.
awkward in the
Yeah, I was
conversation.
gonna
Like,
say the
But
same.
it's not
should I be present?
Are
You're
you
like,
sure?
no,
not okay, not
yeah,
exactly like
Do you need me in this room? Like what? Like this
not
gotta be
exactly.
weird.
I don't want to be extremely corny, right? You know your partner, right? But it's just kind of like, hey, you good? Like, do you nope. Okay. But you're gonna know your partner. You're gonna pick up on these things. Me personally, don't ask me that stupid question. Don't ask me that directly. You should know
should I
whether
be present?
I want your presence or not. Because if let's say you come home and I go to the room, just leave me for a second. You know what I mean? Like people will sometimes over pick up on those like what's that word?
Little signs and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like and sometimes
And yeah, it's I feel like it's like anxious attachment styles.
it is.
Like they're like always, oh my god, it's over. They're like, oh, Like when
I'm not
they
gonna lie, that'd be me. What's the issue now? Come on.
yeah, because it's like they're like one little thing. You're like, man, like they just want to break up with you. They don't. Something's wrong.
That's where it goes
But it's
back
like,
to David is saying like that can make someone like now they're think they're blocked from having that experience, just like going
mm-hmm,
through that emotion.
yeah,
Like they're no longer
yeah,
have access to that path.
that's true.
So where
Like,
can
but
they have that emotion? Like where? You know
What
what
do
I
you
mean?
mean?
like you can still have your space like by yourself.
Yeah.
Like give someone space like sometimes because people are still individuals. You know what I mean? So sometimes they just need be by themselves to be able to work out whatever the issue is by themselves, and then they'll be all good. But I like how you said like there's some things that you need to like work through, and then
Mm.
there's some things that you need to like be able to, just leave alone. And I think that takes like emotional intelligence, like you said, like and also knowing your partner. Because some things like if you kind of leave it alone, then they'll be building thoughts, and like if you don't address it, then it'll just be like a whole different thing. But sometimes
Yeah.
it's just like some people are just dealing with things internally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So someone as a person, if I'm dealing with certain emotions, right, and I'm in a relationship, I need
Yeah.
to be responsible enough to be able to communicate that, right, and
That's the
not
key
just
thing.
like kind of just be silent, and
Just
be
be
like,
quiet. Yeah. A
like
lot
you
of
know what I
guys
mean?
do that too. Yeah, it's not good.
I'll knock that shoulder out. What are you doing all that?
It's
Use your
not good.
words, bro.
Yeah.
And same thing with women too, because sometimes women be like, well, he should know I feel this way. Like,
Yeah,
oh. And
no,
I'm
you're
not being a
dumb.
pick
Wait,
me
wait, wait, wait,
lady.
wait, 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 wait. I want to address that. Sometimes I think you should know though.
I
Like
was gonna get there.
sometimes
Yeah.
there's some things in this life where you should have the where, especially if you know the person. Like you
Yeah.
should know what just happened and why they're behaving. I'm not saying it's every single thing, but like some things it's like very blatantly obvious, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
even me, because I'm thinking like there's times that I've done that and it's like really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like I'll just like assume something and then like have a whole like emotional reaction as a
Yeah.
result of it, and then like I'm later explained to like it wasn't even like that, it was like this, and I'm like it's just like damn, that's kind of embarrassing, you know.
It
But
is. Oh my God. No, I was
it's
gonna
like
say that
man,
as
okay,
well.
yeah,
Like there are certain things you should know, but like let's say like I had a bad day at work, right? And I'm just like I'm not gonna expect you to know I had a bad day at work if I don't communicate that.
exactly, of course,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
But let's say you was just talking crazy and I just shut down, right? You should know if I'm irritated. Or
exactly,
if
yeah.
we went through a situation and I'm just like, ugh, like you should pick up on those sorts of things. So
Yeah, I used to be in the camp of like if it's not direct,
me
like
too.
that it doesn't exist. But now I'm learning that that doesn't really help with things, cuz then if I don't, if I'm not as interested in knowing,
Yeah.
or if I'm not as interested in, yeah, if I'm not as interested in knowing about the reason why they're behaving the way they're behaving, and
Yeah.
at least be in the initiator, knowing that I have no emotional loss in this transaction of me bringing it up and asking, then it's like what do I lose by doing that? Like I don't lose anything, right? And
Yeah.
versus them behaving a certain way and then wanting me, obviously they want me to say something, but then I'm not saying anything. It just makes it, the person who has less to lose, I feel like
Mhm.
you can take an initiative, especially if you care about that relationship a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, I see both sides because
yeah,
that could be easily abused as well, where they
of
just
course, yeah,
because at some point you're gonna have to open your mouth and say, this is what's going on. You know what I
of
mean?
course, yeah, yeah, of
Yeah.
course, of
So
course.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, but definitely partners. I feel like definitely give each other space to have self care within like relationships. You know what I mean? And like I think when it comes to relationships, it's a little bit different because it's about sacrifice.
Yeah.
So you always have to consider the other person's feelings. But even within that, like we always have to remember like we're individuals, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like don't like think that okay, like my life is this relationship now that like I can't now like go have my own self care or self development within myself. Like that's why a lot of people in this like generation, like I feel like we're just so like obsessed with relationships that like once we
Yeah,
get in them, then we're just like so like enthralled in them, and like our life purpose is now this
fulfilled. Yeah,
oh this holy and matrimony. Like nah, bro, like still work on yourself, brother. Like come on.
yeah. Wait, one thing I
I,
wanted to say. Oh, sorry, Finn, you can go if you have one
I
more
was just
thing.
gonna say a key thing to this is just make sure you have like your own thing that you get to do within a relationship. I feel like a lot of when people get in relationships, they be like, my man, my man, my man, my girl, my girl, my girl,
Mm-hmm.
and you bring them everywhere you go. You used to go to the gym by yourself, now you brought your girlfriend with you or your man with you. You used to go
Mm-hmm.
painting, you bring them. Like have one hobby like that's just for you. So you don't get overwhelmed with that other person's presence all the time. Like yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's true. That's very, very true.
The one thing I was gonna say, what I think we should maybe explore. We've kind of gone on for a bit, but I probably this is probably the last thing we talk about. What
Mhm.
about like self care when it comes to your relationship with your parents? Because I think a
Ooh.
lot of 20 somethings, especially Africans, like that's such an interesting dynamic in the home, and I think it's such a unique experience to African children. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about that, because like some of us here probably listening still live with our parents, because obviously why wouldn't you if you still like you have no, why would you move out if you don't need to? But like a balance of that now comes with they're still doing what they did when you were 14, but you're now like an X amount of age, and it's like okay, like let's cut this, like let's not behave this way. I'm a grown adult type stuff. So how do you
Mm-hmm.
approach that?
But I still that child too. Can't slap you with that. I feel like sometimes like you say like a lot of us live with our parents still,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes moving out is self care.
Speak on
Like
it.
like like we love our
True.
parents, like you know what I mean? Like we all love our parents, but we all there's always, especially with family, not even just our parents, like there's always things that like kind of like irritate you with your family, right? Or like there's things that like you've always got family, like family fights all the time, right? And I
Yep.
think sometimes like once you get into your 20s too, like Ara was saying, like they still see you as that like child, right?
Yep.
And so like even though you're now having adult responsibilities, like adult like lifestyles and stuff like that, then like you still have to like go back and like still be treated like a child.
Mm.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like, okay, I have the adult responsibilities, but like I don't get the adult benefits like when it comes
Right.
to how I'm treated.
Yep.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you just don't get any benefit. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yep.
like it's like
Right.
all I have to give, and then I
Mm-hmm.
don't get like any respect. I don't get any like, adult treatment. It's like, dang. So it's like I feel like sometimes moving out is self-care.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Or if you're in a situation where you can say no to your parents in their house and you won't get any kind of wahala, that can be your self care too. But a lot of people can't do that because if you're
True.
in that house, you're gonna do whatever the heck they want you to do. Facts.
What do they say? They
So
say that in a like African home you have to earn the respect by like
Uh,
just taking it.
you have to
Like
take your freedom. You have to snatch
you
that thing
have to
with both
just
hands.
like, because
Ooh.
if they they won't just give it up. Like you just have to like
mm,
one night when you're out. I'm not condoning nothing. Oh please. Oh
or
you.
you're gonna be telling these
I
kids,
did
oh
not
yeah,
give
yeah,
it. I give
oh,
them
it told me,
directive.
oh,
I
it
did
told
not.
me to turn
I
down,
did not
oh,
give you
it told me I
directive.
have to
I
turn
didn't give you
down.
directive. All I'm saying is this: maybe it's one night you're at a high school
Hmm?
Man,
outing.
this is very direct.
High
No,
school
no,
is a
no. You know,
little
no.
too.
At high school, in school, at school, on campus premises.
Maybe
Say,
less
say,
a
say it's like
college.
a basketball game,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
College, whatever, a game, and then it run a little late. Maybe it's like 10:30, 11. You're on your way home, but then your dad calling like David does a better dad voice, so I'm gonna let him do the dad.
Yeah, bro. I'm actually gonna give an example about that, man.
But your dad calling like, you need to be home right now. Sometimes self care look like, shut up, dad. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa! Rip!
I have a
Shut
week.
up!
No,
Shut
no,
I
up,
no.
guess
man.
smiling.
Sometimes self
Shut
care
up,
look
Dad.
like, dad, it's okay. Like I'm with friends. I can share with you my location. I will be home at a
They don't
X
know how to use
amount,
that.
approximately amount of time. You start using big words and show off that I'm thinking about this. I'm cognizant. I'm aware. And I'm gonna come home when I'm ready. And then
Man,
you guys come
that'll
home.
be all shut up with it. Shut up, that mouth be home. Man, have you ever received that? If you're not home in the next 15 minutes, find somewhere else to live. No.
I I was
It
a
doesn't matter
witness to that.
I
what kind
am
of
so
English you do.
weak.
If you're
David
not
was
home,
scrambling.
He said
bro,
he was on the phone
let me
like,
give the 20 somethings that story, man. Y'all don't even understand. I don't know if I talk about it. I
Oh
was in
my
high school
god.
and I was watching a movie with my friend. I don't think it was, maybe it was 9 p.m. or whatever, right? 10 minutes from my house. Not even late, bro. Not even late. when you get the "Where are you?" text, hard drop, boom, Jesus.
Mm.
What do you mean? Where am I? I told you. And it said, "Oh, I'm at the movies." What kind of movies? Get home right now. And then you get 10 calls. You pick up, and then you have a high voice. Hello. And then you say, and then he said, if you are not home, not even where are you? All those things have already been settled. If you are not home in the next 10 to 15 minutes, find elsewhere to live. The movie's not even done though. You gotta tell you, where are you going, bro? I gotta clean my home. I gotta clean my bed.
Oh my god.
And you're already on the road.
Oh god.
The 100 miles.
Taken. No music playing.
My dad will pay the ticket if I whatever. Like, bro, those kind of threats will like get you home, bro. I'll tell you, man.
Oh my god.
So if you're in that
can relate to
situation,
that,
bro, I'll tell you, man. Mine was a little extreme, but yeah, like that's how these African parents are, and especially with girls too. I think y'all be on like a different.
It's worse actually.
It's like a different type of thing too, because I think at a certain age, like mine kind of loosened up a little bit, but like I know some girls, man, like their situations be crazy. Like I don't even want to get into the stories, but
yeah.
you
my
think
situation wasn't crazy per se, right? Because I live at home still. I'm 26. I live at home. I don't care. But I had to really like take my freedom like at the age of like 23, 24 to my mom. Like I remember the first time I said like no. Like, and it was like, you're saying no to me? And it was just kind of a little frosty around the house. You got a little cold shoulder, like, oh, I've been on this earth longer than you. You know, that typical like Nigerian saying, but like now me and my mom, like, we have an understanding. Like, I can say no, like, and I won't ever say it disrespectfully. It's just like, oh no, mom, like I don't know.
You would say like, hell no.
No. Do I want to get punched in the mouth? Like, no. My mom wouldn't punch me, y'all. Sorry, no violence on 20-somethings. But you still have to have a level of respect because you're in that person's house. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, it is what it is at that point. If you don't no longer want to do that, you got to move out.
Yeah. I think that's important too. Like, you got to make sure you still have that level of respect for your parents because they're still your parents. You know what I mean? But it's like you still gotta be able to respect yourself as an adult and like not like obliged to some of these crazy expectations. You know what I mean? Like I think like certain things, like if you're in the house, right, like as a child, like they're gonna just be things they're gonna expect you to do.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like
washing dishes,
different errands, or wow, hey, pick me from this place. Oh, I actually have plans. I don't care. Pick me up.
See, really, because that's where my mom's at. She'd be like, oh, okay. Like, because we have that understanding now, like, she knows, like, if she needs to ask me to pick her up somewhere, she'll tell me, like, the day before. Yeah, like, it's not going to be a last minute thing because she knows, like, I'm at that age where I may be out or I may be socializing. I may be on a date. I may be out with my friends. Like, it's different when you're 16 and where you have to be. You know, you go to school, maybe you do a sport and you come home.
Yeah.
So,
that's the
big
I think
it's definitely a bit better like as you get older.
When the age, please, this only works if you're 18 plus.
18 plus.
If you're beneath 18, keep doing whatever they told you to do. Just keep doing that because if you now raise alarm, that's gonna be a problem. But
you can't start it too early. Okay, you have to start at the right time.
18, 20 is when I think you should like okay, hey, like I'm an adult type stuff conversation.
Start planting those seeds. Yeah.
Exactly. I will even say, when you go off to college, you're in the dorms, you come back for vacation, you kind of slip it in there, like, oh, no, mom, I ain't gonna wash these dishes. I ain't making.
I still gotta do that.
Just kidding.
Wow, boy.
Yeah, but and I think at the end of the day, they definitely give you a lot more respect, and I think now they're starting to understand a bit more the self-care thing. So with age, I guess what we need to do, at least I feel like we as the new parents moving forward, after we're done with this 20-somethings era, and now we start having kids and all this other stuff, I definitely feel like now that we're informed, we'll be a lot like, I feel like we'll approach that one with a bit more tact.
And even like remind your parents, if you're listening, to also have a self-care day. I feel like our parents also get
they don't do that. They really don't do that.
I really had to tell my mom, like, bro, chill. You do it.
You should treat them to a self-care day.
Bro, I be trying. My mom's like, I don't like massages either. But like, I'll get my mom like, maybe I'll get her
Who
some
doesn't like
chocolates,
massages?
or I'll get because she's like, if you start them, you have to continue them because your body is used to it. Anyway, whole nother story. But I'll probably get her like her favorite candy, or pick her up a snack, or like things like you weren't expecting throughout the day. And then she's like, oh wow, I can sit down and watch my Korean movies, like she likes to say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's her form of
Yeah.
self-care, Korean
Mm-hmm.
movies. So
Yeah. I think with like Ara was saying, like with our generation that we have this information now, we should like start like telling our parents about this because
For
they
sure,
like I
bro.
was saying earlier, work, 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 work all day. And like
what?
you see it, and it's just the spirit that they have from Nigeria that they bring here. And so like it's like they need to have those days where they can rest too.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I
Needs
mean?
to be a
Because that's all they're
balance.
used to. You know what I mean? So I feel like since we have that information, we have that, we should spread
We
it
gonna
not only
disperse
our
it.
children, but to the generations behind us.
Yep.
We gonna tell the children. Yeah.
Close your mouth.
Yeah. Hey,
The hat twisted.
yeah. I'm weak.
I'm coming,
Okay.
but I think that's pretty much everything, guys.
That's a wrap. That's a
So
wrap.
wait,
That's a
before we
wrap.
wrap it, so what self-care thing will you guys do for yourself this week? That's my last
I'm
one.
gonna buy skincare and start my routine. I've been saying would start it since the beginning of the year. I haven't done it, but now I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Period. How about you, David?
I'm gonna watch one film and not do anything else. Just watch a film at home and not worry or think about anything else.
Period.
It's myself.
Period.
If you need recommendation, I got you, man.
I know you do. Thanks.
What about you, Fiend?
Thanks for asking. I'm gonna go to a bakery and go get a fresh baked croissant because that's what I want.
This girl. She just buy it to TikTok advertisement.
I really do. Like, if it looked good on TikTok, I have to try it. But Lafayette, New York, if y'all listening to this, ship me some croissants. I would love some croissants from y'all.
Lafayette.
Hmm.
Somewhere she found on TikTok. It's pretty good.
They're in New York. They're a bakery called Lafayette. Not,
Oh, I was
yes.
like, I don't want you, no croissant from that city. But
No, not from the actual city of Lafayette. Nothing against
no
y'all.
offense to everyone, we want viewers from there too. But you know what I
But
mean?
We have no
I'm
one
gonna go
listening
to.
in that region.
Actually, you'd be
Imagine.
surprised, bro. We got a lot of people from like New Jersey, New York,
Are you serious?
yeah. But we talk about
It's
that
a
later.
parade in San
All right,
Hey, New
Francisco.
York,
guys.
stand up.
Thank you for listening. Appreciate the listenership. 20 somethings podcast, 20 somethings podcast _ David, want to kick us out of here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for listening, everybody. You need to remember this. All right. If you get one thing from this podcast, you need to just remember to take care of yourself. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care how many jobs you have. I don't care how many kids you have. Just make sure to take care of yourself because you only have one life, and you need to. You deserve it. So that's all we gotta say tonight. And we got the 20 somethings podcast. Follow us on all social medias like Ara said. And we love you guys. And we out.
Peace.
Zwat.
Why do you guys keep saying